I noticed AC today in some slight defense of Luis Arráez said that over his last 5 games, he's hitting 400. Like, is that the way baseball works? I don't know. But, when Jackson Merrill starts looking like Jackson Merrill and you're a team that's all season long struggled with slug and now he's providing it, I just, for one, would like to see him have a little bit more, just get a couple of more at-bats potentially. But nobody did much of anything last night outside of Jackson Merrill. Jake Cronenworth hit a solo home. I don't need to go through the box score. You people all have smartphones, so you can figure it out.
I would love to know. Maybe I'll dig this up if I have time. I would love to know, in the 10 games or so that Luis Arráez has not played for the Padres, those are essentially the 10 to 15 games where Luis Arráez has not been the number 2 hitter in this lineup, which I remember saying, I guarantee you Luis Arráez is going to be the number 2 hitter on Tuesday. And he was. I would love to know how Fernando Tatis Jr.'s hitting stats look when he has a different hitter hitting behind him. That's the thing that baseball guys love to talk about. Who's hitting behind him? I don't think anyone is afraid of putting Fernando Tatis Jr. on base with Luis Arráez behind him. Perhaps that's why Fernando Tatis Jr. is having a career year when it comes to getting on base and walking. More walks than he's ever had in his entire career. Maybe it's because they just don't care about putting him on base for Luis Arráez, because what's he going to do? Hit a single maybe? So I would love to know if Tatis is hitting better or worse or the same. It would be a small sample size, probably wouldn't mean anything in the handful of games where it's been Laureano or Merrill, or I think even like Sheets was in the 2-hole for a couple games. I'd love to know if he was getting different pitches and if he got different results, but no way to know that right away.
What an interesting point. What an interesting point. Not about who should be getting more at-bats in the 2-hole, but what is the impact of that player in the 2-hole on the guy who you've batted leadoff all season long?
They've traded his home runs for walks, right? The home runs are way down, the walks are way up, and he has the weakest slap hitter in baseball basically hitting behind him. Any baseball person, like an old baseball person, would be like, well, look who's hitting behind him. He's not getting the fastballs in the strike zone because they're not afraid of Luis Arráez. Like, I guarantee you, if you put Manny Machado behind him, he would get a few more pitches to hit.
I've never met a pitcher who said that they didn't look at who was in the on-deck circle, too. Yeah. That they weren't well aware of what it was that was coming up after the player that they're facing.
Yeah.
And how that might have impacted some of their pitch selection and things along those lines. Plus, I think we've had a long conversation about Tatis and some of the swings with Tatis on first base and some of the impact of Arráez swinging at times and Tatis like, I got to go back to first because he fouled off another pitch, There's been a little bit of that as well, even though I heard a great stat. You probably heard the same stat that I did. And I forgot what some of the numbers were, but I was driving in yesterday and I heard Jesse say this, that there are 3 players in Major League Baseball who have X amount of home runs, stolen bases, and what was the third stat? And they were all playing in the game. One was Juan Soto, the other one was Francisco Lindor, and the other one was Fernando Tatis Jr.
I think
Did you hear that stat? Because I wish I had remembered it. Again, it's one of those, it kind of went in one ear and out the other. But I remember thinking, oh, wow, that's kind of cool. That's a good number. But it was X amount of home runs and stolen bases and one other stat. And they were all 3 in the same game. There were only 3 players in baseball that had done the thing. And they were all there yesterday at Citi Field.
I think I heard that, but I don't think I was paying very close attention at that point. But yeah, you're right. Like, we've spent all season talking about, like, who should be in the 2-hole behind Fernando? Who should be in the 2-hole behind Fernando? But, like, last year's team was the same team, and it was Arráez leading off and Fernando hitting second, right? Mm-hmm. And, the thing is, like, the further you move Tatis down the lineup, the less at-bats he's going to get. But if the quality of at-bat is better and you're just moving him down one spot, it would seem like Mike Schilt should maybe experiment a little bit with switching those guys 1 and 2, but probably too late in the season to do it.
And you're not expecting it. You said it the other day. I said, wow, well, now that Arráez had to miss a game, maybe this is an opportunity to say, well, we kind of like the look that Jackson gave us there. But you were right. He wasn't going to compromise on that.